Hey guys, my name is Sadie and welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you're watching this video. And today I'm here to talk to you about my makeup favorites from this year, 2021. I love this time of year on YouTube because I love hearing people talk about their yearly favorites. It just really gives you a clue of what that person remembered from over the year and what really stood out. There are constantly so many product releases, so thinking back on this year, I'm talking to you about some of my favorites that I've discovered this year. Some of these favorites I'll be talking about were actually released in this year, but some of them are also just products that I personally discovered and started using and started loving this year. I do have a separate video for skincare favorites coming up soon. So without further ado, here are my makeup favorites from this year, 2021. I do have other makeup favorite videos that I've done in the past, and you will hear some of the same products that I may have mentioned in those previous videos, but also you can always look back at those videos too for even more makeup favorites that I've had throughout time. But the first favorite I want to mention here today is a primer, and this is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Most of the times nowadays I'm not wearing a full face of foundation, but if I am looking for a primer to use, this is definitely the only one that I'm turning to, and it's pretty much the only one I have in my collection right now. When I'm really looking for that longevity, this is definitely the product that I turn to. This is a very well loved and very popular product, and I think is well deserved. It balances both being a super gripping and super long wear primer while also still being really hydrating on the skin. As someone with dry skin and dry patches on my face, having a primer that doesn't emphasize those areas on my face is really important to me. I will say that when I first used this product, I didn't love it very much, but I think that's just because I wasn't using enough of the product. Because it is so sticky, it almost creates like a layer, a new layer on your face, so it's pretty essential that you use enough to fully create that layer, or else you'll just kind of be spreading it around your skin and it will be kind of hard to spread out. So that is my one tip with getting this product to work for you, is to make sure you use enough of it. But yeah, for me, this is just the ideal primer that still gives a glow to the skin. It's not mattifying in any way, but it still does really help with making your makeup last longer. It's fantastic and, in my opinion, very much worth the hype. My next favorite is a pretty new product to me, but I have really loved it the handful of times that I've used it, and these are the Fenty Beauty Eaze drops, and this is just pretty much a lightweight skin tint. A lot of the times, if you don't already have perfect skin tint isn't really going to do much for you, but I feel like this product is, again, that perfect balance between being super lightweight on the skin but also giving your skin a really unique finish. It may not necessarily give a lot of coverage to those darker spots on your face that you may want to cover up, like if you have acne scarring or acne like I deal with. This isn't going to cover all of that up necessarily, but it does have a really beautiful blurring effect to the skin, and this is what I'm wearing right now, paired along with my NARS concealer to do a little spot concealing around my face as well. The thing I love the most about this product is how it is still really lightweight in coverage, but it is going to give your skin like a blurring effect, which I really like and I think is pretty unique about this. And yeah, if you're looking for something lightweight, and even if you have dry skin, I know sometimes skin tints like this can really emphasize dry spots, but this doesn't do that at all. This is a really nice, perfect, lightweight, ideal version of what a skin tint should be, in my opinion. My next product is a concealer that I've mentioned pretty recently, but this is my go-to under eye concealer if I am wearing it for the day, and this is the Rare Beauty concealer. This is just a super lightweight and brightening concealer that's not going to feel heavy on your skin in any way. And I know a lot of us deal with kind of a crinklier under eye area, but this is something that's not going to emphasize that at all and still give you that brightened look without having too much coverage necessarily, or without feeling heavy at all. Alright, and moving on to some eye product favorites, wanted to give a quick shout out again to a product I've recently mentioned, again by Rare Beauty, and this is their liquid eyeshadows. I think these products are just so perfect for a super quick eye look. I use these without going on with a base underneath them and just swipe it across my eyelid, and I'll pat it in with one of my fingers, and then if I'm feeling a little more fancy, I'll maybe put another shadow in the crease or just go in with these alone. I think these are super great and give a really nice color payoff on on the eyelid. I know if you have darker eyelids, sometimes liquid eyeshadows can sheer out so much that they don't end up giving too much color, but I think these really do, and I'm a big fan of them. Surprisingly, in the past, I probably would have had a lot of eyeshadow favorites. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes in my collection, but to be honest, I'm just not using a lot of them these days. But this is the one eyeshadow palette that I've really been using the most often, and this is by Colourpop, and this is the Big Poppy eyeshadow palette, and it's just a 9-pan of all matte neutrals. It's super simple. If you're a warm tone eyeshadow person, I think you'd really love this palette. You can create a look with just this palette alone, or it's really great for pairing with any shimmer eyeshadows you have. Again, Colourpop shadows are affordable, they work really well, they give you a great amount of pigmentation and not too much fallout. And in this year where I've used the least amount of eyeshadow and bought the least amount of eyeshadow palettes that I've probably ever bought in like the past 5 or 6 years, this is one I've absolutely loved and am constantly turning to. Okay, and now to mention 3 eyeliner favorites that I've had. Another one I'll just give a quick mention to since I know I've talked about it a lot in the past. This is the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes Matte Liquid Eyeliner. Love this liquid eyeliner. It has a brush tip. It does dry down pretty matte. It has a nice amount of color payoff. The brush tip on this makes it super easy to draw on that winged liner. And I feel like this eyeliner has just a slightly longer brush tip on it, which I feel like makes it even easier, especially when you're drawing it onto your eyelid. My only gripe about this is that it's a little temperamental sometimes in that it will seem like there's no more product left in it, but if you leave it upside down or if you shake it a couple of times, then it will have life brought back to it. This other eyeliner is a Drugstore favorite, and this is another brush tip liner that is super dark and stays on the eye really well. And this is actually by Wet n Wild, and this is their breakup proof waterproof liquid liner. Most liquid liners are either a brush tip or a felt tip, and oftentimes I lean towards the brush tip, and that's what this has. With this being Wet n Wild, it's super affordable. I think you can pick this up for $5 to $6, which is even cheaper than my other drugstore favorite liquid eyeliner, which is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Pen. But yeah, I'm really loving this just as much. I've bought it a couple of times this year, and with it being that affordable, it's pretty painless to repurchase one of these. And this pen lasts a surprising amount of time as well, so it doesn't dry out super quickly. It's really great, and I'm surprised I didn't try it sooner. And my last eyeliner favorite is, shockingly, not a brush tip liquid eyeliner, but this is actually a felt tip one, and this is by One Size, and it's the Point Made Bodacious Black 24-hour liquid eyeliner pen, and it is a felt tip rather than a brush tip. The pen on this eyeliner is super tapered, so it goes down to a really fine point at the end, but again is just a slight bit longer, so I feel like that makes it the ideal shape for drawing on that wing and getting that coverage on your eyelid too. The pigmentation is super dark, which is always what I'm looking for and expecting in a black liquid liner. For me, it's super annoying to have a liquid eyeliner that you have to draw on multiple layers for it to really look black. This one is just super pigmented right off the bat. I really like the shape of it, even with it being a felt tip and not my preferred brush tip. I think it's still super great and still really easy to use. One annoying thing that happens to a lot of felt liquid liners is that the liquid liner tip just starts to get a little frayed as it gets older. I haven't had this for too long, so I can't speak on that, but we'll see what happens to it. I'm getting pretty close to the end. I really don't have too many products to mention here today, but before I get to brows and mascara, I did want to mention a blush favorite, and there's just one favorite product I wanted to mention, and this is the e.l.f. Putty Blush. I am mentioning this one because I believe it came out this year. You can also check out my cream blush video where I rank all of the cream blushes in my collection and give mini reviews and my thoughts on all of those. On an everyday basis, again, I'm most likely not wearing blush, which is something that I really miss. I know this is really stupid, but I really can't wait to not wear masks in public for many reasons, but one of those reasons is for wearing blush again. The part of my face that would have blush on it is just covered by a mask all day, so I just really don't see a point. But if it is that rare occasion that I am wearing blush, these putty blushes are really awesome and I've loved turning to them. They're again super affordable since they're e.l.f. and I've really loved using this putty primer applicator. So this is supposed to be obviously for the putty primer, but I've loved using this just going straight into the packaging with it, tapping it and rubbing it in a little bit to get some product on it, and then applying it onto my cheeks. I never really use this spatula end. I guess you're supposed to scoop out product with it, but I don't use it for that. I just use it as a stipple brush, and I think it's great for applying these blushes. There's a lot of great color options for this blush as well. I think it's really long wearing, it's affordable, it's awesome. I love it. And now I just have mascara and brow products to mention. My one mascara favorite is, I feel like, a pretty popular release from this year, and this is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High. And I always prefer waterproof mascara, so this is in the waterproof version. I feel like even though this mascara is really advertised as something that's going to focus on length, I feel like it still does really give your lashes a lot of volume too. When it comes to mascara, I feel like that's one of those things that I'm always going to buy at the drugstore, and the L'Oreal Lash Paradise has been my favorite for years, but this one by Maybelline has definitely been a surprising favorite this year. It does have one of those skinnier rubber brushes with the super short bristles. I've been a fan of a lot of Maybelline mascaras over time, and this one definitely did not disappoint. And now moving on to brows. This one I want to mention just real quick. I know I've talked about it. I've probably talked about it before since it's been a favorite for a while, but this is the Glossier Boy Brow. I will say, if it's a day that I'm going in with a brow pencil and a brow gel, this probably isn't the product that I'm going to turn to, but if I just want to go in with only a brow gel in my brows, this is the brow gel that I'll go to. This is probably one of, if not the most loved and talked about product from Glossier, and I think it's definitely deserved. This is a favorite that I keep coming back to time and time again. The only thing that makes this not the perfect brow product for me is that it just doesn't have enough hold, but besides that, I still really love it, and even despite that, I still use it all the time. Another product that I mentioned and bought multiple times this year is the Kosas Brow Pop Brow Pencil. It has that triangle tip, but it's just a little thinner. For me, it's the perfect shape for drawing on brows. I don't like those super thin eyebrow pencils, and some of those triangle tip pencils can just be a little too big, so this is the best of both worlds. Really love this one, and this is, I think, my third one that I've bought this year. And after buying the pencil so many times, I did decide to also buy the Air Brow Gel. This isn't going to help provide that kind of laminated brow look where it looks like your brows are really stuck in place. I feel like this does the more fluffy brow look a little less formal, informal brow kind of look. I don't know, it makes your brows look a little fluffier, but not necessarily super held in place. But it deposits a nice amount of color. It definitely makes your brows look a little thicker. And my final makeup favorite is another brow gel, and this is probably the strongest hold eyebrow gel that I've ever used, but one that's not flaky or too sticky in any way. This is the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. I feel like I've mentioned this pretty recently, but I've loved using this for helping keep my brow hairs really in place. It has a really interesting brush where two sides of it are pretty much completely flat with no bristles on it, and then the other two sides of it do have those pretty short rubber bristles, so it's good for putting that product onto your brow, depositing a good amount, and then using the brush to kind of brush it out and spread it out through your brows. It doesn't leave your brows crunchy at all. It doesn't leave any sort of shiny finish. I'm super impressed by this product, and it's definitely become a staple in my makeup collection. And that is actually it for my 2021 makeup favorites. I almost said 2020. These years are just all mixed up. I don't have any lip product favorites to mention in this video at all. I do have some lip balm favorites that I'll be talking about in my skincare favorites video from the year. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like or a comment down below if you feel so inclined. If you haven't already, hit subscribe to stick around. I would so appreciate if you did. And until the next video, I will see you all then. Bye!